welcome back to the rigging tutorial. In this one we're gonna go for the eyelid and eye control. Half of it actually, but yeah, let's first create the joint for the eye. I'm gonna duplicate the joint on the top and just move it over to the eyeball. A easier way of doing that will be just grab the joint and then the eyeball geometry, to modify, match transformation, match all transform to bring it there. Okay. And then I just need to Control D to duplicate it and drag it forward. And then parent it back to the ones I duplicated from, to the one I duplicated from. Okay. So we're gonna call this duplicate one JT left eye, and the other one JT left eye 02, and I can name the first one 01. Okay, and then I just need to mirror it to the other side. Oh, before I do that, I can actually apply IK right away and it will be mirrored too. So let's try that. Rigging skeleton, create IK handles using single chain. Go from the beginning to the end of this new joint chain. I just duplicate it, and let's rename this guy left eye. And let's try mirroring. It should be able to mirror the IK also. So grab the joint and then skeleton, mirror joints. Okay, now you see the IK handle is also mirrored, which is, you know, a little bit more convenient. Now I want the joint to be controlling the eyeball. I can go grab all my eyeball geometries. It's gonna be inside of my geometry group. Eyeballs. There are 6 eyeball geometries and also the joints. Isolate those. Grab my eyeball joint, Alt Shift D to delete their history. I just need to band it with the first joint here. So skin, band skin, and the setting will be default settings with the selected joints for the band 2 option and band skin. Do the same thing for the other side. Yeah, we don't need to change that. Okay, now the eyeball will follow the IK handle, and I don't want to control IK handle, so I need controllers. Let me go create a very simple circle here and name it AC left eye, and Control G to group it, and the group will be called AC left eye GRP, and select that group and then the joint here, and then do modify, match transformation, match all transform to bring my controller here, and then I can go to vertex mode and rotate it 90 degrees shape wise, and then maybe make it bigger. Okay, so that's one of my controllers. With the group select, I'm gonna Control D to duplicate it and holding down V to snap it to this guy here, and that is gonna be my right eye and AC right eye GRP. Okay, that's the other controller, and then I just need to parent the IK to the controller. Oh, before I do that, I can also create my master controller. So Control D one more time, and then holding down X and move it to the middle, and then grab all the vertices and make them bigger, and just grab the top and bottom ones and scale them inwards. It's like a VR goggle now, and just shape it to whatever shape you think is proper, and then you can rename it to be ACI instead of left or right. It's just the middle one. So ACI GRP, and then grab the other 2 group we just created and minimal drag them on top of the ACI so that it's controlling everything. And then I just need to grab the IK and then the controller, press P to parent, do the same thing for the other side, and we're done with the basic setup. Let me Control H to hide the IKs. So now my overall controller is controlling where the eye looking at, and also the individual ones to control individual joints. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, I want to create set driven keys to drive 4 blend shapes to make the eyelid follow. I'm gonna go to the shape editor here and let me dock it to the side. Okay, and then I need some target. The first target will be eyelid follow, left side follow, up. Okay, and I need some keyframes on my controller so I can switch to different poses very easily. Let me set keyframe at frame 1, and at frame 15 I'm gonna make it go up, and at frame 30 I'm gonna go down, and frame 45 back to 0. So every 15 frames I'm gonna do a pose so that I can switch to all those poses very quickly. It's gonna go inwards. Okay, that's the poses. So when my eye is looking up, right, I'm gonna define this eyelid left follow up shape. It's gonna be something like this. When you're looking up, your eyelid actually will be pushed up and inwards, so like that. Now some more fine tuning will be nice if you can do that. So maybe here I can, change the arc a little bit here to make it the thickness actually go back. Before it was embedded in too much. Maybe I can give it a better arc by dragging it up just a little bit. The other side also a little bit. And so that's the top. The bottom one also follows. So let me also drag it up. And also drag outwards because it's following the contour of the eyeball, so make sure that you also move it to the front when you are dragging it up, so that it doesn't get embedded into the eyeball. Okay. I would encourage you to spend more time on this part until you think that's alright, that everything is the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so that's the eyelid left follow up. Let me go back to eye looking down, and in this pose I need a new target. I'm gonna call this one eyelid left follow down. Make sure that you turn the other guy off so that you're only focusing on this one blue shapes. So when you're looking down, of course the lower eyelid goes down and also goes inwards to match the contour, so that's no surprise. The upper one also follows and it follows a lot if you actually look at how human eye behaves when you look down. So the top one, let me make a big selection here, maybe just drag the middle one and go forward and down. Bigger selection here. Okay. And then I need to figure out the other parts too. So go downwards, and this one also goes downward. Oh. Okay, you can even rotate it inwards a little bit because the direction of the thickness also changes. But you don't want to do too much crazy changes down the way though. It should be some simple linear movement up and down, in and out. If you do too much complicated movement, it's gonna be really hard to blend with other blend shapes. So simple movement is actually better in this case. And because she's looking down, I would try to do some little tweaking on the eyelash. Maybe even that out. I can maybe do this. See, that's why I model this eyelash, because I know that if I'm using texture like a normal map and stuff, I can never actually make it disappear because it will be a map there all the time. But if it's geometry, I can actually loosen it out. Sometimes the eyelid actually, this double eyelid actually disappears, right, when you look down. So I can do that here if I wanted to. Of course, I don't want it to be to make it completely disappear. Maybe just even it out by dragging it. So it's always giving you more control if you're using a geometry-based way. Alright, so that's the eye looking downwards. You can play through the animation just to see how it looks like. I think I don't like what's happening over here, so I'm gonna drag that down also a little. Alright. Okay, so that's looking down. Let's move on to looking outwards, which is this pose. And for the eye looking outwards, you can grab one of the faces, make a big soft selection, and first drag it to also the outward. Oh, I'm sorry about the dragging I'm doing. I haven't got that blend shape yet. So every time when you create a new shape, make sure that you do create a new target. So this is eyelid left, follow out. Okay, that should make it work. So I'm gonna drag it outwards and also rotate it this way to match it with the contour of the eye. Okay, and for this side of the eyelid, because of the pushing, I can give it more volume. Here, give it more, arc here. The other side will be all thinner, so I'm gonna go in. So you want to make this part more flat. Okay, let me do the same thing here on the bottom. Drag it inwards, rotate to match with the contour. And then for this part of the eyelid, you want it to be, having a bigger arc because it's being pushed. Okay, and then the other side will be flattened, so you can maybe drag it up or being stretched, if that makes more sense. Okay, so it's gonna be looking like this. And moving on to the last one here, looking inwards, and your target here, I'm gonna call this eyelid left, follow, in. Okay, and for this guy, we're gonna do similar things. It's just this time it's the different direction. So going inwards, rotate, and then here grab some of the edges and push it in more. Same thing will be applied to the bottom. So I'm gonna grab that and drag it inwards and rotate. Maybe drag that one into and rotate, and then give it more volume at the bottom too. Okay, so something like this, and then the other side will be flattened again. So Alright, so that's looking inwards. Okay, so we have 4 blend shapes now. how do we drive them? We can use actually the rotation of the joint to drive it. Let's go back to frame 1. And then we can do keys underneath animation key, side driving key, that. The driver will be our joint. The driven one will be actually the blend shape. So let me right click on my blend shape and select blend shape node and load driven. The driver attribute for up and down will be rotation X, though the reason I know that is because when I play the animation, if you select the joint, the channel changes here is rotation X. So rotation X is the driver, and the driven one will be up and down for now. And let me key them here. Okay. And then when the eye is looking up at frame 15, I'm gonna actually drag up the up and only key the up here. And when I'm looking down, I'm gonna drag the down up and only key the down. So now I have the eyelid follow up and down. Let's move on to the outwards. Oh, let's go back to frame 1 again. So rotation Y will be controlling the in and out. So let's key them first at the frame 1 and go to frame 60. That's gonna be looking outwards. So the follow out will be turned on and only key the follow out, and then eventually go to frame 75. And in this case, the eyelid follow in should be on, and then we key the follow in. Okay, so that's the keyframes we need to make the eyelid follow. And if you look at the animation now, my eye is following the eyeball's rotation. Now, one of the things you want to fine-tune here is if you go select the blend shape, go to Window, Node Editor. What you want to do is, now they're actually go to Window, Animation Editor, and Graph Editor here. And you want to flatten those animation curve we did by doing the side driven key, so that there is no hidden easy in, easy out. It will feel more linear, and that's actually what we want. Okay, so that's the eyeball looking up and down, looking outwards and inwards. I don't know what that warning is. It should be okay. My eye is actually very unstable. I hate it. But anyway, let's move on to one more thing we did here, which is the collisions. So the eyeball actually collides with the eyelid when you're looking around. So we need something to collide with. This is gonna be a curve on the eyelid. So I'm gonna double click to select one of the edge loops, this guy here, and then go modify, convert, and polygon edge to curve. Make sure that you're in smooth preview 1, so no smooth preview. Otherwise you will duplicate a really complicated curve. So polygon edges to curve, that's going to convert or create a curve for you. After that, let's Alt-Shift D to delete the history of this curve, and then go to vertex mode, and we can delete some of the vertices that I don't really want it to have because they're too close and it doesn't contribute to the shape too much. Okay, and then I'm gonna call this curve CRV or CRVE curve left eyelid collide. Okay, so for this curve, I'm gonna wire deform the eyelid. To do so, you can go for deform, wire deformer, grab the model first and press enter, and then go click on the curve and press enter one more time. If you see something else being created and hidden, that means everything works. Now if you go drag the curve now, you see it's changing or it's affecting the eyelid. And not only it's affecting the eyelid in the transform way, any deformation it has will be reflected to the eyelid. So it's a perfect collision proxy for my eyelid. Now to actually apply collision to this curve, you can go grab the curve and go to deform one more time, and then go for the sculpt. The sculpt deformer is like using some shape to sculpt the shape you were selecting when you were applying the sculpt deformer, and it has a sculptor and also a origin, which is a locator. So what you want to do is move the origin to where the eyeball is. So it's gonna be, let me grab that origin and holding down V, and let me turn on the wireframe. Go to maybe set view and holding down V and snap it to the center of the ball. Okay, and then for the sculptor, I'm gonna make it smaller because it's affecting too much. But I also wanted to go for the channel box and open that sculptor one and change the maximum displacement to 1, so it has full strength. Okay. Now if you drag that, you can see it's sculpting the eyelid. So what I need to do then is just make it follow my eye joints. Before I do that, maybe I need to rename it. So like that. And then to make it follow, it's very easy. Just grab both of the new things created when you apply the sculpt deformer and name it sculptor left eye, and then use the joint here we created for the eye to do parent constraint on it. So select the joint and then the group, the constraint parent. Alright. Now if you try to move, you see now it's kind of like pushing things around too when the eye is moving around. So it's very realistic now. Okay, so that's all the setup we did in class. So all you have to do for assignment is do the same thing on the other eye. And one extra credit is that if you go to our forum, UNW 3D forums here, and underneath our assignment requirement for rigging, we're gonna have extra credit. The extra credit will be if you can create 2 attributes on the master controller. Here, this guy. To control how much follow and collision to have. So 2 attributes. One for one. Let me actually just show you. So 2 attributes. One is eyelid follow. It's on the master mover. It's the master controller of the eye. Minimum will be 0. Maximum will be 1. And then eyelid collision. Also 0 to 1 range. So I want those 2 attributes. When they're all 0, they will be exactly like the right eye, so no collision or follow. And if I have the value to be 1, then you have full control, full eyelid follow and collision, so that the animator can choose maybe just 50%, like that, 50% eyelid follow and collision, so that we can always fine tune it later on. And that's gonna be easier to get rid of some very strong effect. Sometimes it's just too strong. Okay, so that's it. That's all the things we did in class. And again, assignment is do the same thing on the other side. Make sure both eyes can do the same thing, and extra credit for 2 extra credit if you can create a multiplier essentially to control how much collision and follow that will happen. And a little hint will be that it's done in node editor. You just need to make some connections. The node you will use is multiply divide, and that's everything. Okay, so see you next time.